Hello, welcome to Awaken Inc. This is another recording of my journey as an aspiring artist. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Today I want to tell you a story. The story about my awakening and a couple of things that happened afterwards. So my awakening, what I think of when I say awakening is basically when you become a completely different person. So I was this one type of person before. I acted a certain way, I looked a certain way, dressed a certain way. And after I awoken, it was as if something inside of me that was just deep within me just came out. I just kind of let it out. And I don't know what it was, but I think it was just my true self that I had kind of withheld because I guess maybe we're taught just to kind of conform to everyone else and try not to upset the status quo. So, especially being an Asian person and being raised by very traditional parents, I was always taught to try and be respectful and not do anything that's going to upset others. But when I awoken, it was as if I just decided, you know what, screw it. Let's just let it out. Do what you want. Say what you want. See what happens. And as soon as I just opened that little faucet, I just turned the knob a little bit. It just blew up. It just all came out. And I just changed. I became a different person. I didn't care about what others thought. I just was true to myself. I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna say what I want, or say how I feel, speak my truth, what I really felt, and do the things that I really wanted to do. So it was a complete change. Complete change. It was something inside of me that I never even knew existed. And it wasn't like this all happened and then I was like, oh my gosh, like that's kind of scary. Like, let me go back to my past life. No, it was like, no, this is who I am. This is who I've always wanted to be. So that's just the way it is now. I'm not going back. So, fortunately for me, I had some support. I had friends who had gone through the same thing. Now, they had gone through it a lot sooner than me, and they had talked to me about it. I heard it all, but I never. People can tell you all these things all they want, but until you experience it yourself, you don't know. And so when I finally experienced it, because I had heard all these things, I got to really understand, like I got to appreciate it because I knew what was going on. I understood what was going on with me. So I really got to enjoy it and just take it all in. Like everything was different now. Everything was new. I would look at things as like I looked at them for the first time. I would talk to people and I was genuinely interested in what they had to say. I wasn't just listening just to listen. I wanted to hear. And also I had an opinion on everything. I never had that. Usually I would just, keep quiet. I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to say. But like now I had an opinion on everything. And one of the things I came to discover was, I could pretty much get away with anything, which is what I did. I just was kind of like testing everyone because everyone kind of saw like something happened, but they didn't know what to make of it. And so a lot of it was seeing how much I can get away with. Like I'd be like, you know, just completely honest and say things and do things that most people they would never be able to say or never be able to do. They would just, be too afraid. What would people think about me? And I would just do these things. But when I would do them, it wasn't like people were like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" No, it was just like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." But they let me get away with it. So I was like, "Wow, okay, well, I could pretty much do anything," and that's what I did. And it got to the point where my lifestyle had become like I would go to the gym in the morning, or I would wake up at like 5 in the morning just because the sun came out. No alarm clock, nothing. Just that never happens. I usually would just hit the snooze button like bam, again, until it was like 8 a.m., And even then it was like dragging myself out. Now it was like the sun's up. I'm up. Oh my gosh, what is this? No alarm clock, nothing. I had to turn off my alarm clock. So then I was like, well, I'm up. What do I do? And I started cooking myself breakfast. Never done that. And then I would be like, well, it's still early. Let me go to the gym. I'd go to the gym. And then afterwards, I'd just go to work. And after work, I would come home, and it's like life was just, for me at that point, it was just a party. I mean, I would work, but then I'd come home, and it was like, all right, like, I'm just going to do some artwork. I'm going to drink and just have a blast every day. It's like a Friday for me. And then I'd go to bed, and then wake up next day, same thing. 5 a.m. go work out. So there was days when I would go to the gym like I'm still hungover, like, or not even hungover. I was still drunk. Like I had drank the night before, like a ridiculous amount, and I would just whatever. I'm just gonna go to the gym, work out, then go to work and rinse and repeat. And so this was my life for quite a while. I would just be doing this. And then one day I decided, hey, I haven't seen my artist friend, for a while. Last time he saw me was when I had awoken, and I told him all this stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like you can't believe all this stuff happened. He's like, yeah, I know, that already happened to me. I was like, but no, you don't understand, like this and that. And he's like, no, I get it. Like I've been through that. So that was the last time I seen him, and it was probably like a month. So I decided, I gotta come see him again. And in that month, so much had happened. Like I had taken in so much. I had learned so much, but I had also just gotten away with so much. So I rolled up to see him. He lives about 2 hours away, and the place where he lives, well, there's not a lot of minorities, first of all. So I come rolling up and got my music cranking. I'm feeling good. I had a few drinks before the drive, so I roll up like Yakuza, music blasting, and there was like a group of people. They're just hanging out, relaxing. They see me roll up, and I just step out like, like I said, like I step out like the Yakuza. I was just like, yeah, I'm a badass. Like, and I just decided, like, let me go talk to these people. Like, bad idea. First off, this is a horrible idea. But at that time, that was kind of the mental state I was in, where I was like, I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I've gotten away with everything. So I came up, started talking to these people, and like, they were polite, they were kind. But then there was one dude, this one guy. He's like, yo, man, that's not cool. Like, what are you doing? Like, can't just roll up here and just step up to us like that. Like, and what I came to realize is like he was probably packing. So right then and there, like I was just like, oh snap! Like that's not what I was expecting at all. Like, so I just politely backed off. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm waiting for my friend. I'm gonna just go and sit in my car. And so my friend finally showed up, and he, you know, we got to talking about what had happened, and he what he saw was someone who was basically out of control. Like, he was scared that I was on a path of destruction, which I feel like I was. I was on this path where it was not sustainable what I was doing. Now, if it was just me, if I was such a great artist, I was like a superstar, I don't need anyone. That's fine. You know, I want to destroy myself. Okay. However, that's not the case. Like, I actually need my artist friend. I need other people to help me to become this great artist that I want to be. So it made me think, like, yeah, if I do that, they're out one member. Like, if I just destroy myself, they're out like a key player. Now they have to not just continue on, but they, you know, as a company, you have to always try and grow. So now they have to grow, and they've lost one of their key members. Like, I can't. That's not something I can allow. So it really just humbled me. It really just made me think, like, yeah, like this is. I have to be careful. Like, what am I doing? You know, I can't just. Like, yes, okay. Once you awaken, you have this power over your reality. However, you have to understand, like, it's not just your reality. Like, it's also everyone else's. And you can't just be like, oh, like, screw everyone else. Like, it's my reality. That's how you get hurt. That's how you get in trouble. So, I guess that's the lesson I want to give. Oh, well, before that, it turns out that he knew these people, and, you know, we ended up just, you know, I just apologized. I said, look, I'm sorry. And the guy who called me out, he ended up, I just gave him a big hug, and he's like a really cool dude. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if this were to happen to you, if this happens, you need to understand, like, there's a lot of power in what you're doing. You actually have influence over reality in general. But I would say, you know, be careful with this. If you have friends who have been through the same thing, talk to them. You know, figure out, like, what do I do with this? What do I do with all this? And if you don't have friends, like, do some research. You know, figure out, like, how to make sense of all of this, because otherwise, you know, you could really get hurt, and I don't want to see that. You know, I could really hurt myself now that I realize it. So I just want those who go on their own journeys to just. It's not a race, you know. We're not trying to reach enlightenment like tomorrow. You just take it one step at a time, and so that's my suggestion. Just take baby steps. You know, try one thing and practice it. See how it works, and make sure you can manage it, and make sure everyone around you is cool with it. And then once you kind of have adopted that into your being, you try another thing. And if it doesn't work, don't do it. Or if it does work, then yeah, roll with that. So that's my lesson for today. I wish you the best on your journey. I love you all. Colin out.